Telling me some of the wealthiest people in the world are scamming others in order to increase their wealth? I find that to be entirely untrue. And honestly, I find it to be blasphemy for you to even say that about the lovely rich people of the world. Y'all take Daddy, I'll take Mr. Clean, and we'll call it a day. I love your product so much. I'm gonna write you a check right now, and then this check is going to bounce right after this show is over. That's how much I love your product. That is crazy. What's going on, everybody? My name is Trey Fab. I'm a React content creator / streamer. I like to react to everything, whether that be basketball, insight, or drama. So if you like brain rot, I'm the guy for you. If you like the modern NBA, I'm the guy for you. And if you even like some wrestling takes, I'm the guy for you. I also like to post myself streaming, playing video games, and that of the sort. So if that's the type of stuff you're into as well, swing on by. With that being said, today we're going to be reacting to the Internet Anarchist. Shark Tank is worse than you thought. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, I don't believe it. Let's see.
From massive deals.
You got a contract in place. I will help you right now. $3 million for the entire company.
Wow. To brutal beatdowns.
Mark, are you allergic to positive, negative ion stuff?
No, I'm allergic to scams. Seriously, this is not new. It's been disproven. It's a joke. It's a scam. It's not real. I'm out.
And crazy crash outs.
I would take an offer from anybody besides Mr. Wonderful.
You. Worst presentation ever. I'm out.
Oh, that was me.
For many, Shark Tank is the best show on TV, and it's easy to see why. It has a predictable yet entertaining format with plenty of drama, suspense, and jaw-dropping moments that leave you glued to your...
I will say, I remember when I was younger and my teacher said, what you guys are going to do, you're going to do a Shark Tank presentation in front of the class, and I'm going to treat you like a shark. It was for a business class. Now, I ended up getting like a B on my, I ended up getting a B on my project, and the reason I got a B on my project, I'll try to find it for you guys. It was a whole presentation. The reason I got a B on my project, keep in mind, I was fucking 13. I was 13 years old. And I got up there, and he said it was because I wasn't being descriptive enough on where the revenue was going to come from. What was going to be the constant streams of revenue? How was I going to be able to keep up with the production costs? I tried to do the best I could with that, but I just wasn't too sure. I just said, hey, what if we had something called Trey's Place, right? And it was for teenagers to come by, and we have a basketball court, and we have a video game arena, and we even have a boxing ring. Like, it was literally just me thinking of like a Chuck E. Cheese for teenage boys, right? And my teacher was roasting the fuck out of me for it. He's just like, okay, interesting. So, can you tell me what the production costs are going to be? And I was just like, I tried to look up, like, the cost of, like, owning a gym and owning a basketball court and maybe just a large-sized gym in general. So, I gave him, like, the general numbers. He's like, okay, but what about everything combined? I'm just like, I don't know. He's like, you said you wanted to be located in Chicago. Where in Chicago is going to have that much square feet for all of that? I said, well, maybe, like, on the suburbs of Chicago, like, near Rosemont. He's like, no. Absolutely not. That's not going to work at all. You do understand that the infrastructure out there is not going to allow you to build something so big. Did you even look into the zoning laws? Like, I'm 13. I didn't think to look into the zoning laws. Sorry, that was a random little rant from when I was a kid. But yeah, my teacher went hard on me, okay? He went hard on me because of that shit. And I ended up saying, you know what? I probably failed, but he gave me a B. He gave me a B probably because he realized I'm a fucking child and I didn't know to look up zoning laws when talking about my fantasy Shark Tank pitch about a teen boy getaway. Jesus. All right, let's keep going.
Your screen, something that's apparent from their views on YouTube alone. What most people don't realize, however, is that beneath the show's spectacle lies a world of manipulation, exploitation, and life-threatening scams. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we'll be doing a deep...
You're telling me some of the wealthiest people in the world are scamming others in order to increase their wealth? I find that to be entirely untrue. And honestly, I find it to be blasphemy for you to even say that about the lovely rich people of the world.
deep dive into the dark underbelly of Shark Tank, everything wrong with the show, its sharks, and the contestants. Now, some of these missteps can be chalked up to nothing but mistakes, but as you'll see by the end of this video, a few of them were deliberate offenses that ended up ruining lives.
He wiped out our business bank account. There was about $100,000 in there at the time, and he mailed us a check for $8,000.
For those who haven't seen the show before, Shark Tank is a reality TV show where aspiring entrepreneurs pitch their business idea to a panel of wealthy investors known as sharks, in hopes of securing a life-changing deal. The show first premiered in 2009 as the American adaptation of the Japanese show Tigers of Money.
国籍ファストフードのお店をしたいと思っています。
The same Japanese show inspired the UK's Dragon's Den as well. While the concept was quite similar, the mere idea of someone potentially making it big thanks to the shark's investment was surprisingly gripping. Viewers also tuned in for every episode to see what creative ideas or products contestants would bring up.
In the 80s, there was the Rubik's Cube. Now introducing the toy of the future. Zip string!
The American version also cut down the hours of boring business negotiations into a more fast.
I feel like I've seen this actually before. Am I tripping? I feel like I've actually seen this product before. I've seen like people playing with this product. I feel like, funny enough, I might have played with this product when I was younger. I might be tripping. I don't know. I'm like 100. I wouldn't say 100, okay? I wouldn't say 100% sure about anything except the fact that LeBron's the GOAT. I got my boy on the wall back there. I'm just going to say I'm 90-some% sure that I played with this when I was younger. I just remember the weird fucking formations it makes when you wave it around. That's like hitting a little wave in my brain up here for some reason.
Paced high stakes back and forth between the sharks and the entrepreneurs. This helped Shark Tank gain mass appeal, making it more and more popular with each new season. However, despite its immense popularity, the show has some glaring flaws that are impossible to overlook. For starters, the sharks aren't nearly as shrewd as they claim to be. Sure, they have the business know-how to sometimes land massively successful deals, like the Scrub Daddy.
I'm gonna take the Scrub Daddy, and you're gonna see it's just gonna attack right into that burned on mess, scrubbing it right off. And remember, I'm just using water here. There's no chemicals at all, and it's gonna cut right through that. It won't scratch any of your surfaces, but it will clean them beautifully. Now, Scrub Daddy's not really smiling anymore, so I'm gonna put him here in the warm water, and in just a couple seconds, voila, he's back to bright, fresh.
You know, me and my wife picked up a couple Scrub Daddies. They're alright. That's the only thing I really got to say about that. Yeah, I'm not gonna say they're the best. I'm more of a Mr. Clean Magic Sponge guy myself than a Scrub Daddy guy, but hey. Y'all take Daddy, I'll take Mr. Clean, and we'll call it a day.
Fresh and clean every time.
Lori Greiner invested over $200,000 for a 20% stake in the company, and it paid off.
I'll go to 20.
We got a deal.
Got a deal.
All right.
Good.
Way to go, Aaron.
Woo! Congratulations.
Thanks, Laura. I'm so excited.
Scrub Daddy became a bigger success than Lori could have ever imagined. By 2024, it had already sold over $700 million worth of products. Unfortunately, for a show about experienced rich business people making smart investments, Scrub Daddy is a rare exception rather than the rule. There are the odd successes here and there, but so many more investments crumble the moment the publicity from a Shark Tank appearance fades away. However, even more frustrating than the failed deals are the ones that all the sharks rejected, only for those companies to explode in popularity and prove them all wrong. Like the Lip Bar, a company selling colorful and bright lipsticks. During their pitch, none of the sharks showed any interest in the company, assuming that it would not succeed. Kevin O'Leary even went as far as calling one of the founders cockroaches for what he thought was a terrible idea.
You can't get share. If anybody thought you could sell purple or green lipstick, they do it. They already have the shelf space. They just add another color, and they would crush you like the colorful cockroaches you are. You only have so many minutes on Earth. Don't waste them trying to sell lipstick. I'm out.
While Kevin
That's wild. Listen, this is what I have to say to anyone that's thinking about doing anything that has to do with content creation, that has to do with building a company, that has to do with anything in general. Life is all about a slow grind. You're never going to just hit success right out the gate. Some people do. Whether we're talking about YouTube, whether we're talking about businesses, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. Some people do, but most people don't. If you can afford to do so, go for it. The reason I do this YouTube shit, and I do streaming, and I do content creation, is because I treat it as a hobby that I hope turns into a business. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. But I treat it as a hobby because I have respect for my hobbies. I put effort in my hobbies. Okay, I play basketball. I use it for weight loss and I use it for fun. But whenever I'm playing basketball, I'm putting in my full effort. Sure, I mean, win or lose, I'm not going home with anything. But best believe I want to win. And I want to do what I can to win, even if it's just for fun. It's a hobby that I take seriously, and it's the same with this content creation. You know, it's never going to be right out the gate success. Just keep that in mind. And people are going to discredit you, downvote you, dislike your videos. But there's going to be people, hell, there's people even in my audience, a person like this, that will post a comment like this. And there's more people like this, you know. I have someone who's been watching my videos forever, okay, since I started like 5 months ago. And they still watch my videos to this day, 5 months ago. And I get comments like this one and similar of the sort. Just keep going. Keep going. Keep building an audience. Keep getting people in your life that's going to make comments on your streams, make comments on your videos similar to the ones like this one. And hope that you're going to blow up, whether it be YouTube or it be whatever business that you're hoping to build. Don't let it drain you into a cycle to where it's actually ruining you. You don't want it to do that. You know, no one's saying give up your last dollar for something if you aren't sure if it's going to make it, only because if you have a guaranteed moneymaker, go with that. It may not be your dream, but you don't want to ruin your life for something, especially if you're not entirely sure if it's going to make it. But if you're not entirely sure it's going to make it, and you're able to put the effort forward and the time forward without fully affecting your life in a negative impact, then go for it. I mean, the only negative impact I get from like this content creation shit is sleep. Because I got a wife, I got work full time, and I'm on a weight loss journey, and I'm in school. So best believe I'm losing some sleep to make sure I put some quality content out there. But best believe I'm going to continue to do so because this is something I like to do. So that's just a little rant for you guys to kind of just let you guys know, hey, if you're thinking about doing this, do it. If you're thinking about making a business, do it. Don't let one person discredit you. And as you can see, they blew up. They made money, and they didn't listen to one guy. Don't listen to one guy. This goes to some people with like the streamer university shit. Of course, I applied to the streamer university shit. Probably everybody who's streaming did. And as you can see, I didn't get accepted. It is what it is. But just because you didn't get accepted doesn't mean you don't keep trying. Just because I didn't get accepted doesn't mean I'm not going to keep making content. So that's my little rant for you guys, bro. I know this is coming from a small creator with like 237 subscribers. I get it. But I still want to say that to you because some of you listening to me may have 10 subscribers and you're trying to make content go. Or 30 subscribers or 100 subscribers. Some of you may have 2,000 subscribers and you've been stuck there for months. Keep going. As long as you can build your shit, keep going. If you got a business idea and it's not going to affect your livelihood, keep going. Just don't let any one person determine your life, especially if you're able to take that risk. Go for it.
And it couldn't have been more wrong. Not only is the lip bar still in operation with millions of units sold since their inception, other investors saw the potential that the sharks overlooked, allowing the company to raise a grand total of nearly $16 million in funding. However, the lip bar and every other missed opportunity pales in comparison to arguably the biggest fumble in Shark Tank history.
Ring.
Back in 2013, a company named Doorbot received its chance to shine on Shark Tank. The founder spent the last $20,000 in his pocket to prepare an elaborate set for his pitch on the show. More importantly, the product he was offering also seems like quite the innovation. It was one of the first smart doorbells in the world, allowing people to easily see who was at the door before opening it.
Introducing the Doorbot, the first ever video doorbell built for the smartphone. With Doorbot, you can see and speak with visitors from anywhere.
Jamie, the Doorbot's creator, was quite confident in his product and came in with the mindset of getting a deal. However, this confidence faded away quickly when the sharks failed to see the potential in his company and started dropping out like flies.
I just don't think it's for me. I'm out. But you're pricing out $199. That price point is going to start dropping quickly as your volumes go up. For that reason, I'm out.
Do that. This company, instead of being worth $7 million, should be worth $80 million, $90 million. I just don't see that progression. And for that reason, I'm out.
If Jamie had listened to the sharks, he would have believed his product was worthless and abandoned the idea altogether. But he trusted his vision and kept pushing forward, rebranding the company to Ring along the way. Then, in 2018, something happened that none of the sharks saw coming. Ring was acquired by Amazon for a whopping $1 billion. Ring also went on to become the reason for over 20% of American homes having a video doorbell in 2023, compared to just 4% in 2017. Put simply, Ring became a bigger success than any of the sharks ever gave it credit for. As a comment on YouTube pointed out, craziest part of all of this is a few seasons later, he was a guest on Shark for a few episodes. Don't let a few people who don't understand your vision decide your fate. In the end, Jamie likely had no regrets about how things played out. But what if he actually landed a deal? Well, there's a good chance that nothing would have changed, because as it turns out, many of the deals you see on the show don't actually happen. This might sound unbelievable, but it's true. There are so many examples of deals that happen on air only to fall apart after the cameras have stopped rolling. One of the most common reasons behind these failed deals is sadly the shark's greed. Take Show No Tell for example. Shelley appeared on Shark Tank in March of 2013 with her 2 children to pitch her idea for a new type of beach or water park towel. Her invention allowed kids to run around and have fun without the risk of dropping the towel. After hearing about her struggle after the 2008 recession and the passion she put into this project, Lori agreed to a deal.
I think I see a ton of me in you. I love your drive. I love your passion. I relate to you. I've been on QVC for 14 years, and I know what it takes to, I started making everything by hand. I like you so much that actually what I'm going to do is, I'm going to write you a check right now. Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know what? I love your product so much. I love your product so much. I'm going to write you a check right now. And then this check is going to bounce right after this show is over. That's how much I love your product. That is crazy. What the fuck? What was even... So what happened? She ripped the check up in her face and threw it as soon as the cameras went off? Like, damn. Like, I understood that some deals kind of happened on camera. I get it. And then once you get to the back room and you sit down with the contracts in hand, you're going over the numbers. You actually have to sit down and form a formal contract. You have to get an actual deal, right? You guys spitball numbers all day. But this isn't like, this is businesses we're talking about. This isn't me buying your 150cc dirt bike off of Facebook Marketplace, okay? There's no handshake, we got a deal and we're done. We have to go sit down with a couple lawyers, my lawyer, your lawyer, or one will probably be provided for you. And then you're going to sit down, you're going to go through the contract. Actually, no, this isn't criminal law. You're not going to get a lawyer provided for you. You got to pay out of pocket for that. You guys are going to sit down, go through the contract, and you're going to agree to the terms and conditions, and you're both going to sign. That's what happens after the show. I understood that. But this is fucked. Extremely performative and fucked up to be like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to write you a check right now. Proceeds to write fake check and take it back after the show is over. Jesus.
She cut Shelley a check of $75,000 for 25% equity, $25,000 more than she had originally asked for. This is a dream scenario for any Shark Tank contestant, the best outcome they could hope for. But for Shelley, what seemed like an act of kindness from Lori ultimately cost her the entire business. Because after the camera stopped rolling, Lori went back on her words almost immediately. She changed the deal and started asking for a lot more equity in the business. Shelley had to decline the new offer, resulting in a loss her business never recovered from. This isn't an isolated example either. There are many other companies that never received the cash they were promised on the show for similar reasons. That said, going back on deals is far from the worst thing the Sharks have done to some contestants.
It's been a nightmare. I can't put it any more succinctly, you know.
In December of 2013, former American football player Al Baker went on Shark Tank to secure an investment for his struggling business.
Hi, I'm Al Bubba Baker from Avon, Ohio, owner of the deboned baby back rib steaks. I'm seeking $300,000 in exchange for 15% equity in my company.
Things went surprisingly well for Elle. The Sharks loved his ribs, and he ended up walking away with a deal with Daymond John. But before he had the chance to celebrate this victory with his family, things took a turn for the worst. At first, things looked fine on the surface. The business stayed operational for many years, with Daymond parading it as a multi-million-dollar success. However, in 2023, an LA Times article came out in which Elle and his family talked about the struggles they had to face ever since signing with Daymond on Shark Tank. It started with Daymond changing the terms of the deal, from $3 $300,000 for 30% to just $100,000 for 35%. L, however, felt pressured to accept the new terms, knowing his business's success depended on this deal, stating, "You're in that environment, you're not asking a whole lot of questions. It's Daymond John. My wife and daughter would have killed me if I said I wasn't signing this." Unfortunately,
No. If your wife and your daughter loves you, they... Okay, I'm not going to judge family dynamics through a computer screen. I'm just saying that I know my wife, okay? I ain't got a daughter, but I got a wife. I can only deal with one woman in the household, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, though, my wife would definitely understand if I told her, like, hey, he changed the terms of the deal. I'm not really sure how I feel about this. I feel it's kind of shady. If he's going back on this, what else would he go back on? She would probably tell me not to sign it, honestly, because she would say, if he's willing to, like, go back on this, what else would he change? What else would he make you go back on his word on? Like, what else would he try to change within your business? What else would he try to tell you as far as what's working and what's not working? That's what your vision. Like, no. This is your vision. This is your business. Absolutely not. We're not doing it. Don't sign the deal. That's probably what she would have said, honestly. So, no. I don't think they would have killed you, brother. And I'm not mad at him either, because he's thinking about his business, which is probably, you know, the success of his business is what's going to lead to the livelihood that his daughter and his wife live. So I get that. I'm not hating on him. I'm probably hating more on Daymond John for making him a deal and then going back on that said deal, completely changing the terms, giving him $200,000 less and taking 5% more in the company. Like, that's just completely fucked up.
This was only the beginning of L's hardships. Shortly after he agreed to the far worse deal, Daymond appointed his friend, Nate Holtzapfel, to handle the tech side of things, describing him as a, quote, internet genius, and putting him in charge of the website, online marketing, and funds management. This backfired almost immediately when the company's website went live only 3 hours before the Shark Tank episode aired on TV. And while it worked, they had to refund 14% of the initial orders because Nate failed to set up sales tax on the website. However, this was nothing compared to his second transgression. You see, Daymond left Nate in charge of the accounting, but when L and his wife asked for financial reports of their business, he didn't comply one bit. When they complained to Daymond about this, he shrugged them off completely, stating, "I'm not asking you to kiss him, you know, this is business." They eventually managed to push Nate out of the company, only to end up getting screwed over even worse.
This sounds like some illegal shit that's going on at the moment. What the hell?
Once we were able to finally have Nate removed from our business, he wiped out our business bank account. There was about $100,000 in there at the time, and he mailed us a check for $8,000. And we requested information on that, a breakdown of where the funds went, and we never received it.
As for Daymond, he refused to take any responsibility for what was basically robbery, claiming that Nate, quote, deserved it. In the meantime, Daymond also kept presenting L. Bubba Baker as his biggest deal ever with over $16 million in sales. However, L claims that his family only received 4% of that $16 million. They also received just $2,900 net profit from a $5.8 million deal with Hardee's. They were clearly getting ripped off by Daymond. The Baker family still tried to figure things out peacefully, only to get slapped in the face with a lawsuit.
We're thinking to ourselves, hey, Daymond, aren't you concerned with where the profits went from the $5.8 million deal? So we're thinking he's going to align with us to try to figure out where the money went, like just a breakdown of where this money went from $5.8 million. Instead, Daymond John band together with the co-packer, Rastelli Foods, to file a lawsuit against us because they wanted to move forward with a Subway deal.
They eventually came to a settlement with Daymond, which forced them to sign a confidentiality agreement. Put simply, they can't tell anyone about what Daymond did to their business. However, the legal fees from this lawsuit made the Baker family lose their home, restaurant, and even their food truck. Left with no other option, the Bakers decided to break this confidentiality agreement and come out with everything. Their story quickly gained steam as fans of the show were horrified by Daymond's treatment of a lovely entrepreneurial family, with one person writing, "I got teary-eyed listening to L. Bubba Baker's story. Watching a millionaire let them lose everything just to pocket an extra million or two is disgusting. There is absolutely no justification for them being shut out of their own business like that. I pray God restores them." Daymond denied any wrongdoing.
To address this LA Times article that Al Bubba Baker and Brittany Baker intentionally broke the confidentiality and put out and shopped to this reporter. And at best, it's not true, and that's me being kind. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to always stand up for yourself, no matter what position you get in life, just like I am. Don't sit back and think, oh, the truth is going to set us free because I have the truth, but I'm under confidentiality and I can't put the truth out there in detail. But public opinion also could potentially affect your family, your loved ones, the people that have worked on this project and invested in it. When your family's out there and because of public opinion, these people now, after the LA Times article is out, they're online damn near harassing me at this point and putting up a lot of falsities, and I will not stand for that.
Okay, so then my main question is for you. Release the numbers. You had like a $5 to $6 million deal. Show the numbers on that. They're claiming they only got like a couple grand. That's what they're claiming. So they basically got nothing from that $5 to $6 million deal. Show them they're lying. Show the numbers. They broke the they broke the agreement, to the confidentiality agreement. They broke it. So it's all up in the air now. Anything is for play. So why don't you go ahead and just show us? Like, I don't understand when shit like this happens, when we're not talking about a he said, she said scenario. We're not talking about a bad date night out and this guy did this or this girl did this. We're not talking about a crazy story that happened at work and nobody recorded anything. Or maybe one person recorded a 10-minute skippy video you can barely hear or see anything. We're talking about business. Business. We ain't talking about practice. We're talking about business. So how are you not able to show us that, right? Paperwork, anything. Because if they received more money than they're letting the public on to believe, show that. If they didn't have to lose their home and they didn't have to lose their business and it was just them wanting to be selfish, I guess, show that. But I find it kind of weird. And I also find it kind of snaky that you don't want to show that. You just want to give us some lecture video about, hey guys, if anyone's trying to like stop you from and tell you in the public eye that you're being a bad guy, make sure the public eye knows you're not really a bad guy. And the real bad guys are the people saying you're the bad guy. Like, what is this, bro? What is this Dr. Seuss bullshit? Just show us the proof. I feel like it's that easy, right? To just go ahead and show the paperwork, show the evidence. And what happened with your homeboy, Nate? What happened there? They said I had $100,000 in their account. They can show that. And they got a check for $8 grand. So he decided he was owed a $92,000 salary or something from whatever, on top of the salary he was already making? You need to show proof. Confidentiality agreement's gone. It's broken. So I have no idea why this guy has a hard time wanting to show the evidence to prove his innocence, unless he's got something he wants to hide from it. But that's just me. I can only speculate. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's innocent, because I don't know. But wouldn't it clear my mind if you showed us?
I'm always going to stand up for myself.
He even filed a restraining order against the family, forcing them to take down all past negative comments and preventing...
Oh, that's why you filed a restraining order. I'm like, why would you file a restraining order? The fuck? I highly doubt they're outside your crib. That's why you filed a restraining order. So you can force them to take down negative posts and to stop talking about you. You're a clown, dude.
them from posting anymore, something fans of the show did not like either, with one commenter writing, Daymond is a child who can't admit he screwed over poor Al. Fortunately, they did receive some settlement money for their troubles, but after everything Daymond put them through, no amount of money could truly make up for the stress, losses, and betrayal they endured. That said, while this case went down as the worst scam by a shark, they themselves aren't immune to getting scammed either, as was the case with the breathometer. In September of 2013, the sharks came face.
Here's what I have to say. This is a hot take. But if the shark is Kevin, because I've heard some scammy stories about him. If the shark is Daymond, fuck him. And if the shark is Lori, I don't know how scammy she is, but based off of her character, making this grandiose deal on camera just to take it back off it gives me bad vibes about you. It's one thing if a shark is like, I'll give you 10K. I'll give you 10, that would be super fucking low, but I'll give you 10K for 10%. We got a deal? Deal! And then behind closed doors, they're like, hey, how about 10K for like 15%? And they go back and forth in negotiations. I still think it's kind of scummy, because it's like, why not just say that on camera? But it's a little different. It's different than you sitting there and going, your story, it connects with me so much. I connect so hard. I'm literally hard thinking about your story. I'm about to cry, and I'm hard as a rock listening to your story that I connect with. And I want to write you a check. Like, there's a... and then after the show is over, go, yeah, everything I said there, doggy, I fucking lied. I'm not giving you this. The fuck? Like, that's fucked. So, yeah. Lori, Daymond, Kevin can get fucked. So if they got scammed, scammer get scammed, buddy. Get fucked. But if it was Mark, I think Mark seems genuine. So that would kind of suck. But I'm not going to feel bad for a billionaire. But we'll see. Mark or the other dude, I forgot his name. Robert. I think Robert is pretty legit. I haven't seen many negative stories about him, but we'll see. But yeah, Mark or Robert, I'd feel maybe a little bad for. But the other three, they can get fucked. Let's see.
To face with Charles Yim and his revolutionary smartphone breathalyzer called the Breathometer.
Let me show you how it works. Simply retract the audio jack, plug it into the smartphone, activate the app. Within a matter of seconds, you'll be able to know what your breath alcohol level is. And better yet, it can even tell you how long it'll take to sober up. And if need be, you can even hail a cab with a push of a button.
For context, a breathalyzer is a device that measures the amount of alcohol in a person's system, commonly referred to as blood alcohol concentration, or BAC. The problem with traditional high-quality breathalyzers at the time, however, was that they were not only expensive, but also bulky and inconvenient to carry around.
I think there's a point of that as well. And I also think, I don't know if Internet Anarchist is going to bring it up. I should probably stop pre-pausing. Okay, my bad, guys. I just, real quick, because he might bring it up himself, and then I'll continue it. I'm pretty sure, like, when cops pull you over for a breathalyzer, I'm not even sure if they're extremely accurate. I think they're accurate enough, but I don't think they're allowed to be used in, like, a court case. I think they got to take you back to the police station. And they have like a more accurate, more bigger breathalyzer for you to use, or maybe not a breathalyzer, something to test your blood alcohol level that can be used on a court case. I think the initial breathalyzer is just to see, because it's like, it's close. It's not super accurate, but it's accurate enough to where they have enough probable cause to take you back to the station to test your blood alcohol level. But I could be completely wrong on that. I'm not making that up out of my ass. The only reason I know a little bit about this is because I remember I was doing something for drunk driving back for a project that I did a couple years ago. I did an entire project on drunk driving and shit. I remember a lot of weird shit, especially for my state of Illinois. And different laws and different tactics that cops use as well in order to catch drunk drivers, which is interesting. Might go over that another time. But I'm pretty sure that's the case. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Let's continue.
Charles's breathometer solved both of these issues. The sharks were so impressed by his little invention that in an unprecedented move, all 5 sharks invested in the company at the same time.
I accept.
All right.
Wow.
Damn.
What they didn't know was that this would go down as one of the...
Well, here's what I'll say. Scammer gets scammed, buddy. Like I said, 2 of the sharks kind of sucks they got scammed, but you guys are billionaires, you'll live. The other 3 suck a dick, because they probably are crying more about it. See, the thing with Robert and Mark is I could see these 2 being like, damn, that sucks. I should have been better with the deal. And the other 3 like crying because they lost out on $1 million. If they're willing to scam someone and destroy a couple's, like Dave and John, destroy a couple's livelihood and business for a couple $1 million, I think they're gonna cry because they lost out on it too.
biggest mistakes in the show's history. As a comment on YouTube puts it, little did anyone know Charles was the real shark in that room. Long story short, Charles was lying through his teeth. His breathometer did not work as advertised. Inaccurate readings, a buggy app, and a device that barely worked. These issues were all over the barrage of negative customer reviews. As one user on Best Buy puts it, this product sounds cool but doesn't work at all. No matter what device I tried to put it on, it just didn't work. The app is not compatible with any device I had, and I read similar reviews on other websites about how it didn't work after an update. Charles, however, had no intention on fixing it anytime soon. Instead of working on improving the app and the hardware, he was instead living it big with the money he received from the sharks.
The guy, Charles, I look at his Instagram and he'd be in Bora Bora. And I look at his
this
Instagram.
guy's shit.
Yes.
What?
2 weeks later, and he's be in Vegas partying, then be on Nectar Island with Richard Branson. And I text him like, what the fuck are you doing? You're supposed to be working. Oh no, I'm networking. Next thing you know, all the money's gone.
All of the sharks lost the money they invested in his company. That being said, multi-millionaires and billionaires losing a few $100,000 each wasn't the real problem with the breathometer. The real issue was that its failures put innocent lives in danger. You see, breathometer understated users' BAC levels, which is misleading at best and disastrously dangerous at worst. According to the FTC, the company claimed their devices can measure BAC levels from 0.02% to 0.25%, yet they never tested them for beyond 0.02%. Imagine what would happen if somebody became intoxicated and their breathometer suggested they could drive. It likely would not end well at all. So, by airing the breathometer episode without verifying its legitimacy, the Shark Tank producers were partly responsible for whatever accident might have happened. Not to mention the sharks who kept promoting it afterwards in hopes of making their money back. In the end,
I don't want to be a dickhead. I don't want to be a dickhead here, okay? Not me victim blaming or anything going on here. I just got a really interesting hot take for you guys. If you need to blow into anything to check if you are sober enough to drive, the answer's probably no. The answer's probably no. Is that a hot take? If you have to go, I just got out of the bar, I had a few drinks, let me blow into this device to make sure I'm good to go. You're probably not good to go. Take a cab, take an Uber, take a bus. Do something. Walk. Do something. Do not drive. That's my little bit of advice to you, because I'm pretty sure, I am pretty sure you have people out there that feel that way. That's like, oh, breath test. Oh, they don't even have a breathalyzer. There's a breath test. Oh, I think I'm good to go. Like, nah, bro. Listen, if you need to check your breath or blow into a breathalyzer to see if you're good to go, the answer's probably no. Don't drive. Hot take.
And the breathometer company had to refund every customer, making it one of the biggest failures in 16 seasons of Shark Tank. Which brings us to the present day, and the big question is, are the sharks and the show's producers doing anything to make things right? Well, not really. Some of the sharks have found a new way to make money, selling out to literal scams. Daymond John, for instance, happily promoted Jason Bond Picks, an online course selling scammer.
Daymond John also endorsed Jason Bond Picks, which, if you guys know stocks, you know what a joke that guy is.
All right, listen, before I contacted Jason, I'm a shark, right? You know I have no problem about, ripping somebody apart or just saying I'm out.
No, you're a sellout for money.
At least with Daymond, you can make the argument that he did vet Jason and found him completely legit. Even though there's no evidence for that being the case, it's still possible. Kevin O'Leary, on the other hand, is doing something even worse. He's recklessly endorsing any brand that comes his way without stopping to consider for a second whether he's promoting a scam, all for the low price of just $1,200.
What the fuck? You should not just be endorsing anything for money. $1,200, Kevin? What is your net worth, my guy? How much money do you have? This is what I'm talking about. Some of these dudes are just shameless. Holy shit. He has an estimated net worth of around $300 million. Like, do you really need to be shilling out your endorsements for $1,200 a pop? Do you honestly think, like, that's the smartest move to do here? I think it's indicative of your fucking nature to show that you only care about money and to show that you don't give a fuck about the general public by going on and putting these ads out where some people may not even know that you're doing it for money. You do understand that, right? Some people may just think, oh, it's Kevin O'Leary. I can trust this brand because he does. They may not even know that it's because you got paid $1,200 to do it. That's snaky, dog. Come on now.
I can't even tell you how many people lately I've seen do this, where they get Kevin O'Leary specifically. He's like the king of this. Of these fake shout-outs.
Hi, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank here. Has sold nearly 1,000 different products on Amazon alone. Check out Sophie's book.
Thank you for the kind words, Kevin.
There it is. You can pretend like the endorsement was all natural. What? I paid for it? What do you mean? This is just what Kevin O'Leary, me and Kevin O'Leary, we're just tight like this. We're just tight like this because he never says it's a sponsorship. He just says it's a shout out. So you can do what this lady's doing and put it in your YouTube ad. Oh, yes. Dude, he has sold out the soul of this show and just been like, hey, it stood for real people making real companies. Forget all that. I'll sell you a shout out for $1,200. You kidding me?
Coffeezilla looked into this back in September of 2020, over 4 years ago, and Kevin is still doing the same thing. The only difference now is that it's upped its price to $1,500 instead. As for the show itself, it's not doing much better either. The thing is, at its core, Shark Tank has always thrived on one simple yet powerful idea: hardworking entrepreneurs getting what they deserve and going from rags to riches. It's the kind of feel-good story audiences love, but that magic is starting to fade. Instead of scrappy underdogs with groundbreaking ideas, more and more new contestants are already well-connected, financially secure, or outright wealthy. One of the most blatant examples of this was when Arnold Schwarzenegger's millionaire son and his already successful ex-wife appeared on the show and landed a deal.
Hi, Sharks. I'm Maria Shriver, and this is my incredible son.
And hi, Sharks. I'm Patrick Schwarzenegger, and obviously this is my amazing mother, but she's also my business partner in our new venture,
They shouldn't have even been allowed through the doors. How are you going to let Arnold Schwarzenegger's son be on the show? It's a publicity stunt. Just let him come on the show to sit around. His dad probably has enough money. Now we're going to look up his dad net worth. I don't think it's around 300 million, but should be a few million. Now let's look up his dad, Arnold Schwarzenegger net worth. Oh! 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 My bad. My fucking bad. Okay. So his dad could be a fucking shark. Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Dude, just let his son on the show to come chill with you guys. I knew Arnold had money. I didn't know he had that much money. That's crazy. Just let him come on the show to chill with you guys. Just let him come chill. Oh my god. I can't, that's even more infuriating. $1.2 billion net worth? $1.2 billion? And before anybody says, yeah, but that's his money, not his son's money. Okay. Oh yeah, his son is probably working at McDonald's or something. Shut up. Oh my god.
Yet, despite all of this, Shark Tank isn't going anywhere. Even with its flaws, the show is still widely popular as ever. Its base format is just a bit too entertaining to fail. Watching ambitious entrepreneurs pitch their ideas, whether brilliant or ridiculous, will always be captivating. It's also why even parody videos based on the show rack up millions of views. People love the concept despite knowing it's flawed. Unless something truly catastrophic happens, Shark Tank will keep going strong. Even then, if one of the sharks faces a major scandal, they're easily replaceable. So as long as there are businesses to pitch and deals to be made, the show will always find its way to stay afloat.
That's a bit rough. That's a bit rough, I'm gonna be honest. Jesus Christ, bro. So what we got out of this is Kevin's a dickhead, Daymond's an asshole piece of shit, and Lori is a clout demon. So that's what we got out of this. But I hope you guys like the content. If you want me to react to anything, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you want me to react to some shit, and I will do so. Until next time, my friends, I love you. I'll see you. I'm gonna go get some sleep. Peace out. Deuces.